Thing's kind of been a pain in the butt the last couple days. I got out here yesterday with plans on getting the carburetor gasket. I forgot to put it on. The one that goes between there, the manifold and the carburetor. Had big plans yesterday, and that got all shot to hell because last 2 weeks I've not really been out here doing much. It lost spark. Condenser went bad. So of course yesterday I'm freaking out, not even knowing where to begin, and then I just had to calm down and tell myself, alright, you know what you're doing, start doing your checks. And sure enough, the condenser went bad. It's been cold and rainy here. Replaced it, got it fired up, but then the battery didn't have enough charge to do much because I had been cranking on it for so long. It's just a 6-volt system, so it didn't even have enough spark or enough charge to create good spark. So I said fuck it, took the battery off, charged the battery overnight on just a little trickle charger. I'm not entirely sure if this thing's charging right now or not. I keep forgetting to bring my multimeter out here to check, but Brian had always told me if it wasn't charging, well, it sure runs a hell of a long time on a charged battery, and that battery's only half charged. I ran that battery completely down one time. It took 2 full days to charge because it's only a 1.5 volt trickle charger. It took 2 days to charge. Well, I only charged it overnight, but it fired up this morning. I spent probably the last hour and a half load testing it and making sure it'll start, or it'll go in 5th gear from a dead stop. It still takes it a sec to get wound up, which from what I hear all these H's do, H's and super H's, even the M's I've heard, have to get wound up a second 5th, but I don't have to go to 4th, double clutch it into 5th. I can start right off in 5th, and it's just been a matter of finding the right balance between power and efficiency, which of course I don't have a bush hog for this thing yet, so my whole load testing may be shot to hell as soon as I put a bush hog on this thing. But there's a big ass hill, which I showed you guys in one of my last videos, and the way I have it set now is I was running 4th gear going straight up that hill, and no black smoke, but it wasn't losing power. And then I was fighting with it. It's about right here, somewhere between here, I'd say about, it's probably about right here. It was wanting to run real rich, and like idle it wasn't rich, and at full bore it wasn't running rich, but at that kind of in between it was running pretty rich. Couldn't get that dialed in. I fought with it forever because at first I had the carb set at like 4.5 turns, and that was, I know factory they set the main needle at 5 turns out. For this carb, that is entirely too rich. I mean, it may be out 3 maximum right now, and if I go much more than that, it ain't gonna do anything. It'll just be puffing black. It'll run rough, like really rough. You'd see black smoke coming out. Yeah. So it's only about 3.25 turns out, and that's the best I can get it right now. I'm trying to think. And it seems to run pretty good. It's as smooth as I can get it. It's pulling itself up a hill pretty good, and I don't know. Like I said, I just had to find that balance between power and efficiency, and it seems to be doing all right. Finally learned what I was doing wrong as far as starting goes. All the times I've started it in the past, I'm over choking it. I'm used to an old John Deere B, which on those you have to choke them. You hold the choke in till it sounds like it wants to go, then you push the choke out. She starts right up. Well, on these you don't do that. It's what I found to do crank on it for a second, then just barely blip the choke in and out, and it fires right up every time. So I got the spark issue fixed. Hopefully my carb is dialed in correct. I was talking to a guy on Facebook about a bush hog. He's asking entirely too much for it, so I'm gonna at least go look at it and try to talk him down. And yeah, I do have a battery. I have got a cover for that. It's just off at the moment. I did manage to get some rear end, some transmission fluid in here. Still leaks a little bit, but it's not dripping out like I thought it would. This turns a little, but it's nothing major. My next project before September, which is the big show, which is the one I went to last year with the John Deere. I absolutely want to make sure it's charging, and I want to get the lights working on it. And then sometime within the near future, and maybe the next project I work on, I want to rebuild this seat. Get a new seat pan, get a new shock absorber. It's a little wore out. Get a new pin and bushings, and I've debated on even getting a heavier spring for this. That may be the standard spring and it's just wore out, but it rides okay. I just want to make sure that, you know, it's not going to fall apart with me on it and I'm bush hogging or something like that. Oh, and I need new friction discs up on my throttle because I've got the M&W style throttle, which I've heard, I don't know, it's kind of weird to me. The M&W and then this regular sawtooth style, they both have their downfalls because the sawtooth style, you don't have to worry about it slipping, but the teeth on them get wore out. Whereas the M&W, the friction discs get wore out and they start slipping. But anyways, so this has kind of been my project on it. Brian Field, if you're watching this, and I'll send this to you, here's how it runs. This is kind of at a medium idle. I could probably idle the idle speed down even more than that. It was actually down quite a bit more than that, but I was afraid it wasn't enough. So I turned it up a little bit. Hell, this may be too little too. And then see, I can smell gas, but I can't see it. It may be just dialed in right where it's between power and efficiency, where she may run a little rich right now, not under load, but under load it'll run right. Like I said, a bush hog, pulling that bush hog up that hill I'm supposed to mow, that'll be the true test. And I'll probably end up having to adjust it out a little bit more. I'm hoping not, because it runs good right now. So I'm just glad I'm done fighting with it. I'm gonna cover it up better this time. That's what happened, is I didn't cover the front end up good enough last time. The wind caught the tarp, blew it off, and got my distributor and coil and all that wet. Apparently made my condenser go bad. So I'm pretty tickled by how it's running right now. Matter of fact, I may end up go run it down the road one more time just for peace of mind. So, thank you guys.